Hello, everybody. This is Julissa. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. Thank you to everybody who's listening right now in the podcast. Today is Monday, May 19, 2025. I wanted to come and share this story about the incident that happened earlier today in Central Park. Again, I don't know how often this happens, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So we had you seen those carriage with the horses at Central Park? One of There was an incident with one of them today. Before I continue and tell you exactly everything that's going on there, I want to say thank you to everybody who has been listening using Spotify. Don't forget to follow me on Spotify. So every time I make a new episode, you get a notification, okay? Really important for you to do that. And also, thank you so much to everybody who's using Apple Podcasts to listen to this podcast. And of course, everybody who's watching the video right now on YouTube. One of the things that you guys know that I come here and tell you breaking news and things like this, but I have noticed lately in social media there have been like an influx of more and more videos where we see animals going crazy. There's a verse in the Bible that speaks about the it, the creation earnestly awaits the manifestation of the sons and daughters of God. And for some reason, every time I hear of an animal basically going crazy, not obeying their masters and all of that, the trainers, I think of that verse, right? Um, because one thing we know is that when the second coming of the Lord is you know, things are starting to happen. And obviously, nobody knows the exact day, right? Before anybody try to like check me on that, nobody knows the exact day or time, right? Like the Bible says. But I'm saying I feel like the animals also have a sense of in the farmland they say when you see the animals do this, that means we're going to get a lot of rain or there's something happening, right? So I feel like the enemy will definitely use animals in the last days, right? There are people who, don't get me wrong, like I love I remember growing up in the Dominican Republic, like we had a cat in the house and we had dogs that family members will bring, and we like would dog sit. I remember doing that a couple of times before I became more like uncomfortable around them after I got bitten. I think that's when it happened. But I remember dog sitting one time, and it was it was perfect, right? Because it was just such a cute little dog, and it was a very common thing for me doing that in the Dominican Republic, right? And I know dogs are very part of families right now, right? I think during the pandemic, even it became more of a need for a lot of people who live by themselves to have a dog, right? To have a pet. And I know they're so dearly and loved by so many people, right? And the last thing is, do you expect for your animal that you train and you have for years, right, to go crazy on you? And I always tell you guys, you have to understand that at the end of the day, an animal is an animal, and they're going to disobey and they're going to do their own thing, right? No matter how much training you provide to them. And let me tell you what happened in Central Park. It says here that there's a viral video that's going around right now. Central Park horse runs wild without driver in shocking video. And it says here, somebody said, one of the most terrifying experiences ever. There's things that are happening that are out of the ordinary in New York City. We had the crash that happened over the weekend with the ship hitting the Brooklyn Bridge, out of all things, right? Um, and now we have this incident that happened in Central Park. So, it's good to point it out to kind of like pay attention. But it says here that a runaway carriage horse sped through Central Park without the driver on Sunday evening, sending panicked parkgoers caught on shocking video scrambling, even jumping over wire fences and into the park greenway. And that would be me running away from this horse. I cannot imagine being around there and seeing this horse coming at you with a carriage attached to it, out of all things, right? And it sounds funny, right? It sounds funny sometimes when we say things like this. I'm going to see if I can show you this photo. Oh, of course, it has to go away when I'm trying to show it. so that you guys can see what I'm referring to. And I'll see if I can get you the photo. So you see the horse there, riding by itself, just carrying the carriage there. At least it had no people on board. Well, it had a couple. It had people. Now that I see it, but like I said, that would be me running away. If I see this thing, I mean, I will be running away from that, right? And it's just crazy. I know there's a lot of people. It's summertime. Well, it's almost summertime, and people are, on vacation, and New York is always busy, right? So imagine experiencing something like this, right? The wild horse, which was pulling a white carriage with the purple interior, trotted a half a mile from Tarbert-on-the-Green to the dairy at high speed around 6 p.m. yesterday. Terrifying videos posted on social media and shared by animal advocacy shows. Somebody said, I was there with my friend walking on the sidewalk and almost got trampled by the poor horse. It was so terrifying. Somebody said also that my friend and I were walking on the sidewalk to the right of Central Park Loop when I heard Lasso screaming. And wow, so imagine that, right? Every time, after everything that happened in New York City back in the early 2000s, you guys know what I'm referring to. When you are there and you see a crowd of people running and screaming, you obviously think about what happened over there. And then, you see the horse. I think people say when they do these type of things, the animals, they're terrifying, right? But it's very unusual for them to do that. You always see them in New York, right? I used to see them living in the Dominican Republic, by the area called El Malecón. I don't know if they're there now, but I grew up seeing them, right, by El Malecón, and I used to see them. They always were very well behaved dogs, right? That's what you want if you want to have people riding around with them, right, in the city traffic. So it's very unusual, but like I said, things like this, I feel like they're gonna happen more often because because the enemy is gonna use whatever he can, right? Um, including animals. I think there's another video that I saw of they were just playing in the living room, a family playing in the living room with their pet dog, and the pet just started attacking the mom out of nowhere. And it's like, it's so unusual to see that, right? Because they're obviously in the house, comfortable with all the kids and everything in there, because it's a family pet. Like I said, they had it for a couple of years. They had a lot of training, and for them to just go crazy like that, I can only think of, that's just the enemy doing his thing, right? Using pets. So it's just terrifying. Let me see how this ended, right? They say that a witness said we had a split second to move out of the way over the wire fence between sidewalks and trees when the horse ran past us. That's terrifying. I'm laughing because I'm picturing myself, I love New York City, and I try to go there as much as I can. And if I see something like this coming at me, rest assured I will be the one jumping all over as much as I can jump, right? So that would be me doing all of that, running away. And they say they were jumping over the wire fence, and the horse ran past through them. So the horse was just trying to get away. He's like, I'm not trying to get to you. I'm trying to get away from this park, but apparently, right? A crowd of cyclists quickly followed the speeding horse to warn pedestrians on the loop. The witness added, "That's very smart, right?" About a minute later, we saw a pedicab pull up with somebody in the back seat who was presumably, oh my goodness, I do apologize that I'm laughing. I don't know why. It's like, did I see this in the movie? It's so crazy. I really hope nobody got hurt. I'm not finished reading this, and I'm laughing. That's not good. Um, it says here that a pedicab pulled with someone in the backseat, excuse me, who was the driver. And many people were yelling, giving him instruction on which direction the horse went. Oh my goodness, that must have been crazy. It's just, picturing the driver like coming into trying to catch up with the horse. That's crazy. I'm sure it was terrifying for him too. And like I said, I do apologize for laughing. So the horse was not secured to a hitching post at the time because there wasn't one nearby. Let me see how they capture him though. Another person said the union rep for the carriage horses said there were no injuries or property damage reported, and there's currently no indication the horse driver was negligent. So see, it was just the horse. He just had enough that day, right? Because that's what I'm saying. When you bring these horses into the city, to the city traffic, to rent the carriage so that people can ride around New York City, rest assured these horses are very well trained. Right? We all know, right? We see them. For one of them to just do this is just so out of place, and it wasn't a negligence of the driver. So right now, at least it says here nobody got hurt. So no property was damaged, nobody got hurt. So apparently it was just the horse just trying to get a break or something. But that's crazy. Let me see how this ended. They want to tell me how it ended. I guess the driver was able to catch up to him. So the union of the horses, they will be conducting an internal investigation. Will continue educating the drivers in proper security methods. Okay. The last time a horse was loose in Central Park, I remember this was in 2014. So yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, you don't hear stuff like this happens, you know? So I am glad that I think the one from 2014 had people in the carriage. This one didn't have anybody. So that was good. So it's good to see how everybody, the cyclists started going faster and like trying to tell people there was a loose horse coming, with a carriage attached. So that was, at least that was very helpful of people in New York to do that. But yeah, this is, like I said, I saw another video on TikTok the other day about that family dog. It's terrifying, right? It just went crazy. It started biting the mom in front of the children there. Imagine the young kids looking at that, right? They will be so terrified to see why is the dog that's so friendly turning like that. And then we see countless of videos of delivery drivers being attacked by horses, because by not by horses, oh my goodness, by dogs. Like, people know they order stuff, they know they have a dog that's very protective and doesn't like having people coming over or whatever, right? And then you go crazy on Amazon, right? Or you order online, let's just say, and you're not going to have no sympathy for the driver. You're just going to let your dog loose in the yard. And then we see the videos of the Amazon driver, right? Just going crazy because there's a huge dog waiting for him or running at him. It's just, it's just sad, but that's what it is right now, right? Let me see what some people are saying here. Some people are saying it should be abolished already to have carriage rides. But I think they're so iconic, especially in New York City. It's almost like, I don't know if it was probably shown on the movie Home Alone. It's the carriage with the horses so iconic in New York City. Then somebody says, excuse me, somebody asks, why wasn't the animal control taking possession of the horse and find the owner? If a 1-year-old dog ran away, you will have to pay a fine, potentially lose the dog. That's a good point. Right? Somebody says the horse probably wanted to get away from the carriage that tied to his back all his life. See? Then you start feeling sad, right? I don't know. It's just crazy. But the good thing about these things, be to God, nobody got hurt. I mean, New York City, warm weather, Central Park is a lot of people, and you're gonna have a loose horse with the carriage attached to it running away in Central Park. Like, that's crazy. But thanks be to God, like I said, nobody got hurt. Let me know, guys, what you think about this. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. Thank you to everybody listening to the podcast. Have a good day, everybody. God bless.